This is the country of Mali in Western Africa. Today it ranks among one of the most underdeveloped countries on the planet. Half of its citizens live below the extreme poverty line, despite having huge reserves of gold and salt. The country is facing serious economic and political problems. However, the region was one of the most prosperous on the planet 700 years ago. Its citizens was richer than ever and its king was destined to become the richest man in history. Mansa Musa is known as the richest man ever lived with a total wealth exceeding $400 billion, which easily surpasses the wealth of billionaires alive today. To put into perspective, that's more than the wealth of Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, Warren Buffett and Mark Zuckerberg combined. He was born in the year 1280 to the royal family of the Malian Empire. But he was not heir to the throne. Instead, he was a deputy to the king of Mali when he was on an expedition to explore the limits of the Atlantic Ocean. The king, however, never returned and Musa eventually succeeded the throne at the age of 25 in the year 1312. The Empire of Mali was located on the south of the Sahara Desert, mostly isolated from North Africa and the rest of the Islamic world. Trade and communication were very limited because of the harsh terrain of the Saharan Desert. The world knew very little about the Malian Empire. When Musa came to power, he conquered 24 cities and renewed the trade routes with the Middle East and the North Africa. Some cities even joined willingly because of the high quality of life in the empire. The territory of the empire grew in size, stretching from the Atlantic Ocean to the borders of the Saharan Desert. The trans-Saharan trade with the North Africa and the Middle East flourished, and the empire became more prosperous than ever. Musa wanted the entire world to recognize the immense wealth of his empire. He decided to go on a Hajj pilgrimage to the holy city of Makkah in 1324. A pilgrimage that would literally put him and his empire on the map for the centuries to come. He didn't travel alone. Instead, he was accompanied by his soldiers, slaves and his officials in a miles-long caravan. The caravan was some 60,000 people strong, all wearing cloths of Persian silk or brocade, and each one carrying 2 kilograms of gold bars in their hands. The caravan was provided with food supplies for their entire journey. Each camel in the caravan carried up to 140 kilograms of gold dust, which was distributed among the poor people during the voyage. Not only it was given to the poor but also used to buy souvenirs. The caravan was so long that it would take a whole day to pass and stretched as far as the eye can see. It is also widely reported that the king ordered to build a mosque every Friday in his year-long journey. His caravan passed through the current-day countries of Mauritania, Algeria, Libya and Egypt, before finally arriving in Makkah. While in Egypt, Mansa met with the Mamluk Sultan Al-Nasir Muhammad and his government officials, who offered him to stay before continuing his journey. He was also well received in the streets of Cairo, Medina and Makkah, where he donated massive amounts of gold to the needy and impoverished people. Musa's generosity and large donations significantly devalued the price of gold in Egypt and caused an economic recession that lasted for the next 10 years. The 4,000 miles journey finally ended with a pilgrimage in Makkah, which took place somewhere between 1324 and 1325. On his return, he brought Muslim scholars, architects and intellectuals for the construction of his empire. Various mosques, palaces, libraries and universities were built, and Mali became the most important place to gain knowledge in all of Africa. Malian cities of Gao and Timbuktu became one of the most advanced centers in the Islamic world. Musa finally became successful to make his empire globally renowned when the stories of his wealth spread not only in the Middle East but all across Asia and Europe. Merchants from the southern Europe added Mali on their trade maps and started to exchange their products for gold. Musa died in 1337, leaving behind his enormous wealth to his successors. In 1375, he was added to the famous Catalan Atlas map, which was one of the most important maps in the late Middle Ages. The atlas depicted Musa sitting on the throne with a gold coin in his hands. Even 700 years after his death, no one has ever got close to his level of wealth. In the following decades, the empire of Mali grew weaker and finally fell into the hands of colonial empires. Its citizens were taken as slaves to Europe and America, and the golden age of a once great empire finally came to an end. This was the story of the wealthiest person in history. I hope that you would have liked it. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next week.